welcome to Liverpool Community Radio and Thursday's Big Lunch with myself, Brenda McGrath and Dave Knight. We have the usual chat, news, views, interviews and community readouts. Liverpool Community Radio is an internet radio station staffed by volunteers who have completed the LCR training course. Our website is www.l-c-r.co.uk, where you can listen to podcasts of all our shows, but you can also find the dates of the next training course. On our show today we have guests. Firstly, Anthony Manley, who is a musician, coming in to talk about his new CD, Venom. Hopefully, secondly, we'll have in someone from Memory Lane Fairs talking about the new wedding show. Well, there's a wedding show at the Liverpool Metropolitan Cathedral on the 28th, which I think is Saturday. And then we've got, as our third guest, Barry Kushner, who has written a book called Why the Cuts. So it's an alternative look to the austerity policies of the current government. And also he was at a book signing and attending the Labour Party conference in Brighton, as he is a councillor for Norris Green. So he'll give us an update for that. So with me, of course, is the lovely Dave Knight. How are you doing, Dave?
Okay today. Sometimes coming a little bit tired after a busy night at work, but not too bad today.
Been at work last night?
Oh yes, a bit of a strange one last night. Had a few glitches with our computers.
So what you work for? You work for a not a company. It's a doctor's out of hours service, isn't it?
Service. The company that provides the out of hours service for the doctors.
And you go on the computers, do you? There, or do
you,
I thought you drove. Well, not just.
I'm a driver for the doctors, but of course, I also act as receptionist sometimes if people come in to the treatment centre.
Okay.
And also, it's a case of acting as a security as well in some respect.
All right, so you look after them. So you've been up all night?
Yes.
You look well on it. If I've been up all night, probably do look like an old hag most of the time, but I certainly look like an old hag.
Oh, behave yourself.
Oh, isn't he nice? Isn't he sweet? So what do you think about our show today?
Well, if our guests turn up, we're going to have a full show. This time last week we had a guest waiting to go, and we've got nobody. So panic.
No. Well, I went to my grandson's birthday party on Saturday, which was lovely. It was outside because it was a nice, lovely September afternoon. Brought all his little friends out in the garden, and we had a lovely time. It's really nice, and that was really. He's 9, so it's nice to see him growing up, and he plays rugby. So he's going into a right muscled up little boy. So shall we have a song? What have you chosen, Dave, for our first tune?
Well, I was going to choose The Endings, I Don't Know.
Yeah.
Because that's one of our local bands.
It is, and it's Matthew Breen, who was he played the George Harrison in the local, he's the lead singer of that, but he's not with The Endings anymore. He's solo, but he played George Harrison in Lennon very recently on the Empire, and was very successful.
Okay, so we will play this, and then we'll hopefully get back with some more news and info.
Crazy. Oh, and I drink News, views and interviews from your community only on The Big Lunch, live every Monday, Wednesday and Friday from 12 till 2, repeated at 6 till 8, 10 till 12 and the following morning 6 till 8 a.m. www.l-c-r.co.uk.
My name's Joe Anderson. I'm the elected Mayor of Liverpool and I listen to LCR. LCR is Liverpool's community radio, where the words matter the most.
The views of presenters and guests on LCR, Liverpool Community Radio, are not necessarily representative of LCR, its directors or funders.
Welcome back. You are listening to The Big Lunch on Liverpool Community Radio with Brenda McGrath, me, Dave Knight. And that, as I said, was the music Semi No Flowers.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't? No, it wasn't. It was the endings. I don't know. What am I doing?
Endings.
It's all right. I'm looking at the way this list has gone and it's moved.
Wake up, Dave.
Yeah, yes.
It's all out at night time work.
Right. I'll get this right in a minute. So, that was, as I say, that was the end.
That was Matthew.
The endings, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, we only play non-copyright music, usually from local bands. So, we're going to go with our next guest to the newspapers, etc. I'll pass you back over to Brenda.
Okay, Anthony Manley, you've come in to talk about your new CD today, but you're going to do the newspapers with us first, aren't you? So, do you want to have a look and see what you think about anything?
Okay.
Dave, just before when we were talking off air, you were talking about the fuel that's come up. Ed Miliband said that she's going to reduce not reduce the cost of fuel, but freeze the cost of fuel for 2 years if they get back in. Yeah. So, what do you think about that? I mean, aside from the fact that the promise has been made, what do you think about that?
Well, I'm sceptical. Straight away, I'm sceptical. Whatever politicians say in their pre-election run-up, if we're lucky if half of it comes true. That's been my observations, and a lot of other people have said the same thing. So that's the first thing. But it always bothers me. He says he's going to make them freeze the prices, and then they say, "Oh, well, if you do that, we're going to have power cuts." And I tend to think, right, are they going to give us the power cuts to teach the government a lesson for trying to dictate to them? In which case it was their fault in the first place for passing them over to the private sector. But we did have power cuts when it was publicly owned anyway, so it's no change there.
Yeah, well, they did. That was an awful long time ago. But I mean, they've been saying about these power cuts anyway.
Oh yes,
to justify the rising cost of fuel.
Yeah,
because they say most of it's investment. Yeah. And E.ON came on after Ed Miliband announced this and said, "We only make 5% profit anyway." The other
5% of how many millions?
Well, exactly. But so I think that we were talking about this before as well, Dave, weren't we? When before it was all privatised, there was a time when it was prohibitive, the amount of fuel. You had to pay for fuel, gas, electricity. Then it was privatised. Then it went down for a long time. And it was within everybody's reach.
Yeah,
and the prices have only gone up, haven't they, in the last, 4 years, 5 years?
Well, we were told that was, it came down because of the North Sea oil and the North Sea gas, which they were selling abroad, and therefore they had more money to buy other, gas in from abroad. Well, now that that's run out, that they're now saying we have to buy in from abroad at the higher cost. Hence this.
And also there's green policies feeding into all this as well.
It's all crazy. I say, the one we were talking about off air, the new flat screen TVs we have, the plasma TVs, I'll come to the LED TVs in a minute. The plasma TVs and the fluorescent TVs, they actually used more power than the old cathode ray tube TVs. Now, as you say, they've got the LED TVs, which are running on similar sort of power level to the old CRTs. But in the meantime, everybody's bought one of the older TVs.
Yeah, so there's huge amounts of energy being used.
They're encouraging us to try and save energy with the low energy light bulbs and the low energy kitchen appliances.
And you always feel under pressure all the time, don't you, to sort of save, and you're running around, taking things off standby and things like that. But to my mind, I'm like you, I'm a bit cynical. So I think that maybe there's a bit of a cartel going on here. Far from it being competitive, I think they're all in this together. Because there's not much, no matter if you swap around, I'll ask you in a second, if you swap around and change, there's not that much difference in what you're going to get charged. There may be a couple of £100 a year. You're still going, if you're running a normal home and you have it on, even if you've got your timers on, it's going to cost you about £1,200 to £1,500 a year.
Oh, yes.
Electricity. You're going to save £200. You're not going to save £500, are you?
No.
So there's not much competition between the two. What do you think, Anthony, about all that?
I don't really know. I don't really. Politics isn't my bag whatsoever.
What do you think about the fuel prices, though?
Well, I don't drive or nothing like that. So
no, I don't mean that. I mean energy in the house.
We're talking about electricity.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you said. Where it's like they want you to cut down on the electricity bills, and then they're making all these stuff that. You buy low energy fridge, low energy washing machine, exactly.
Low energy light bulbs, but then you have a video recorder. Yeah. You then have a digibox of some form or another, which consumes power. Yeah. I was saying to Brenda, there was recently a box announced that they were giving away free to boost the signal from the TV, to stop the signal on the standard Freeview from breaking up. Yeah. And that consumes power. Yeah. And then, you add to that, most of us have the internet.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And then
that's not too much. I'll tell you what, using kettles, if you fill them up, that's a tremendous spike, that, in electricity. Yeah. You should always only have, I knew that from years ago, and you fill what you want to use.
That's right. Well, that's why the kettles change shape so much, because then you can get less water in and not...
Yeah. Well, you must find it with a young baby that,
Yeah, we're losing a lot of hot water at the minute with sterilising bottles.
But how do you find the energy, the fuel bills? Do you find them hard to meet?
Yeah, I do.
We call it fuel, energy bills, gas, electricity.
Since we've had the baby, it's a lot more difficult at the moment. As I said, we're using a lot more water and stuff like that, and you don't realise. And prices are going up and up, and it is hard for families, isn't it? But
yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see whether this comes off. I think it's a vote winner, but a little bit sort of looking into it a little bit more deeply. I think that, and later on in the Labour Party.